so many of us were not actually taught how to communicate, how to express what we need, set boundaries, and handle conflict without either shutting down or blowing up. We picked up a lot of our habits and styles of communication from our parents, from our friends, from movies and TV shows that we watched. And most of those habits, especially those that we watch or that we see on social media, that we see online, that we see in shows and movies, like, they're not actually showing how to build healthy relationships, how to communicate in a very healthy manner. A lot of the times they're toxic. And I would argue that some of our communication skills, or lack of, are the reason why so many of our relationships end badly, or why we feel neglected during the relationships, why they just turn toxic and messy real quick. And babe, I'm so sorry to break it to you, but if every single one of your relationships is toxic, if you have beef with every single person or almost every single person that crosses your path, if you have multiple relationships where you just had a huge, horrible falling out, then there is a pattern there. And if you see a pattern like that, it's time to look internally for the problem, because that's a sign that the problem might have stemmed from you, okay? Don't mean to call you out. Sorry, just had to put that out there. And it makes sense because communication is everything. It affects the types of relationships you build. Yes, of course, romantic, but also relationships in the workplace, relationships with your family members, relationships with your friends. It seeps into your career. It seeps into your home life. It seeps into every single relationship you have, and even the one that you have with yourself, because communicating your needs is the biggest thing that you can do for yourself. You can straight up say when you need something, but how do you navigate and communicate your feelings when you feel disrespected, when you feel like you've been neglected in a relationship, when you feel like you're being taken advantage of? Do you completely just shut down, ignore it, refuse to tackle on like the confrontation? Or do you get really defensive about it? Do you blow up? Because in either of those things, like, your needs are not going to be met. You have to approach things very, I don't want to say like calculated, but kind of like communication. It takes a lot of skills and it takes a lot of time to really develop it. And I think some people are so lucky that they've developed it from a young age. Like my boyfriend, he's so good at communicating most of the time. Most of the time he's really good at communicating, and I've truly learned so much from him. But me, on the other hand, as some of you may or may not know, I have borderline personality disorder, and a lot of the times my emotions get really heightened, so heightened. It feels like, like the smallest inconvenience under the right scenario with my emotions, like it could feel like the end of the world. A little mistake or misunderstanding can feel like the ultimate betrayal. It's very black or white thinking with my borderline, and that dramatically affects my ability to communicate when my emotions are heightened. And so because of this, there have been so many times where I've lashed out on my loved ones, right? Because it's never with a stranger, like it's always with somebody that I have a strong relationship with. And I think that almost kind of sucks more, because when you truly know someone, we truly love someone, it's very easy for things to get heated. It's very easy to feel hurt by the other person. And I've lashed out on a lot of people that I was so close with. Truth be told, before therapy, a lot of my communication skills were subpar and my relationships were affected by it. I completely cut off friends. I had messy falling outs with friends. I would have very big arguments with like my parents, with my partners, my romantic partners. It ruined so many of my relationships. And then I got into DBT therapy, which is dialectical behavior therapy, it's a therapy that is recommended for people with borderline personality disorder like myself. And it's helped me out completely because it's equipped me with these skills to just be able to communicate my emotions, even when I can't really navigate my emotion. And what I've learned through DBT is that communicating effectively is not about being perfect. It's not about being persuasive or even being always calm and down to earth. It's about learning skills that help you express yourself clearly while still maintaining that mutual respect between or for you and for the other person involved or people involved. And I think the best part for me has been just not feeling like I have to choose between keeping the peace, keeping an amicable relationship with the other person involved, maybe not, you know, starting something that could get really messy, versus getting my feelings validated, letting my emotions be known, letting my thoughts be known, feeling like I could just be honest about how certain situations make me feel. In the past, because of my communication skills, or lack of communication skills, I should say, I always felt like, okay, I can say this, obviously I'm hurt or whatever, and I can express myself, and I know it's gonna turn into like this full-blown argument, or I know this relationship is just gonna end, or I know I'm gonna say something I'm gonna regret, or I already know I'm gonna, you know, just do something that's gonna like sabotage something. So let me keep my mouth shut and let me protect my peace. And it was always this like either or. Either I speak my truth or I don't speak at all. What kind of day do I want to have? But in reality, like, you can do both. You can still have a good day while also speaking your truth. Like, those two things are not mutually exclusive in a relationship. And I think, if anything, when you speak your truth, when you speak your mind, especially when you've been hurt or when you're angry, when you're upset or whatever, that is what makes relationships stronger. I'm seeing this a lot in my current relationship. I think I had a tendency to either blow up on people and I guess like sever the relationship, right? Because once you say something nasty, it's not like you can take it back. For me, my BPD, I can say something or somebody can say something to me and the words truly like won't stick. I don't know what it is. Like it feels almost like when I do it, it feels like I kind of like black out and I say things that I don't fully mean. And when somebody says it to me, it's like I don't conceptualize that these like really nasty things have any truth behind them. Like, it's really weird, and I think if you don't have BPD, it's kind of hard to understand because it's kind of hard to explain. But that's how it is. But what I've learned is that for somebody who doesn't have BPD, for somebody who has like a more, I don't want to say normal brain, but I guess we can kind of say that for a lack of better words, it doesn't work like that, right? You say something nasty and they're gonna carry the weight of your words for years. You can say something really just like really hurtful and that's not easily gonna be like, oh, okay, you didn't mean it, whatever. No, you can say, oh, but I didn't mean it, but in the back of like somebody's head, they're still gonna like think about it. There's still like that pain, that hurt that you caused them. It doesn't just go away because you say, oh, well, I didn't mean it. And so I had this habit of doing this, of just blowing off steam, acting on an impulse. And obviously the relationship is forever, I don't want to say ruined, but there is a crack in the trust, a crack in like the perception they have of you. Or another thing I would do is I would just let so many things slide. Because I'm like, okay, well, I don't want to get to a heated argument. I don't want to get to this point where I can like talk out of my ass basically and ruin the relationship in that way. So I'm just going to keep quiet. Yeah, I don't like that this person did that. Oh, well, I can put up with it. Both of those times, it was like hell, right? It was hell having to deal with the fact that I hurt somebody with my words so much, that I basically causing trauma, right? Because if you say like the right really bad things, like you can really fuck someone up. And then the other side was also hell, because it's like, it's hell to live and be in this relationship, both, you know, friendship and platonic and romantic, either or, and know that my needs are not being met. Know that something that is being done makes me feel disrespected. So what's the only solution is to just communicate how you're feeling and know how to do it effectively. Know how to do it where you're respecting yourself and you're also respecting the other person. You're also acknowledging that the other person has feelings and emotions just like you. And I think a lot of the times it's so easy to just be so mad, so hurt that you kind of forget that. You start just saying anything and everything, and yeah, you're hurting the other person, but you're also hurting yourself, because your real needs, what you're actually trying to communicate, it's not going to be read by the other person when you're just throwing all this shit at them, right? They're going to get really defensive, and then that conversation is not going to get anywhere. So that was a really long way to say that I'm going to be talking about the skills that I've learned in DBT, the skills that have completely changed how I show up in conversations, in arguments. These skills have helped me get what I want, get my needs met in relationships, and have just helped me build deeper relationships overall. So when it comes to communicating effectively, DBT teaches 3 main things: how to get what you want in a relationship, how to maintain relationships, and how to keep your self-respect while doing both of these things. So the very first thing that I went over with my therapist was the wise mind. So we have 3 states of mind. We have the emotional mind, which is driven by emotions, right? You get very sad, you get very mad, you want to say all these things, right? You did this, you did that, you did this and that, and you made me look stupid, and it's very reactive, very intense and impulsive. Then we have the reasonable mind. So this is very logic driven. It's very practical, and you're going to be thinking about the consequences of things. This is like basically like what I was doing, where, okay, I'm upset, but is it worth ruining the relationship for? No, I'm just gonna let it go. It's not that big of a deal. Maybe, I don't know, your partner came home very late. Okay, yeah, maybe he came home a little bit late. Not that big of a deal. That is the rational mind. But as human beings, we're not all, like in a perfect world, we could be all the rational mind. Every decision is based on logic, but that wouldn't be humans, right? What sets us apart as humans is that we are able to experience an array of different emotions, but we also can't completely act out on our emotional mind, because then that's when the arguments start. That's when things can go from 0 to 100 very quickly. Yes, we want our emotions to be heard. Yes, we are feeling very strongly about certain things. That doesn't excuse, like the behavior of disrespecting somebody, of ending a relationship, of, turning things into like verbal arguments. So we also can't act out from our emotional mind. Now, that's when the wise mind comes into play. The wise mind is a mix of both your rational mind and your emotional mind. Obviously, this is like, easier said than done. When you're really, really upset, yeah, you might be feeling like you want to act out from your emotional mind, and you might not be able to stop yourself. But that's the beauty of skills, right? Communication is a skill. And so what helped me is being more mindful of both sides of the mind. Literally any action that you take, or any decision, any thought, start pausing anytime that you remember to, and try to ask yourself, what mind is this stemming from? And obviously for, let's say you're at work. Are you going to want to use your wise mind when you're like solving a really big company issue? Okay, maybe not. Maybe it's okay to use your like rational mind. So that's fine. You can be like, this is stemming from my rational mind. Whenever you remember to use that, do it. It's going to be practice. You are building this skill. The skill is that when you are very heated, or when you feel very hurt, when your emotions are heightened, you're going to remember to ask yourself, what part of the mind is this coming from? You're going to be able to correct yourself if it's coming from either the emotion-driven one or the rational one. And so, like I said, DBT really highlights the importance of getting what you want from relationships. And for that, I learned about objective effectiveness. The acronym, so DBT has like a lot of acronyms because it's like easier to remember them, I guess. It's still pretty hard, I'm not gonna lie. The acronym is Dearman. So Dearman stands for describe, express, assert, reinforce, mindful, stay mindful, appear confident, and negotiate. And this skill is all about getting what you need. So let's say you are arguing with your partner. Let's say you guys live together or whatever. You're arguing with your husband or your wife because they got out of their shift at 10:30. They were supposed to be home by 11 and they weren't. And you're sitting at home worrying, you're stressed out, you were like spamming their phone maybe, and no call, no call, no call. You're mad, like it's been 30 minutes. You have enough time to be very, very emotional about this topic. You're very, very frustrated, you're hurt. You're like, this person doesn't care about me. Like, doesn't he understand that I was up all like night? I couldn't even go to sleep. I couldn't do anything but wonder where he was. I wasted all this time spamming his phone. Why is he treating me like this? Like, you know, like your mind starts racing. You're heated right now. Then this is when you would implement the Dearman strategy. So the first one is to describe. You're going to describe the current situation if it's even necessary. But you're going to do this by sticking to the facts, to the T. You're not going to let the person in on any of your emotions right now. This is more where like your logical side is going to come out. The D is to describe the situation factually. So in this case, it would be, you told me you would be here in time for, let's say this person told you that they were going to be home for dinner and it is now 11. Dinner was at 7 p.m., right? You're even more heated. You cooked this dinner. The food is ready. Okay, that's the scenario. You told me you would be home in time for dinner and you didn't come home until 11. The reason why there is no insight on our emotions at this point is so that the other person doesn't become defensive. If the other person senses that you're upset, that you're gonna go off, that you're gonna nag, they're gonna get, oh my God, you're always, what does it matter? What does it matter? Look, why are you mad? You know, you're gonna get like a very defensive reaction. We don't wanna do that. We don't wanna cause an argument. We just want to express our concern about a problem and find a solution so that we don't experience the emotions or the problem that we are currently experiencing. That's all we want, right? This is all about getting what we want. We don't want an argument. We just want to solve the issue. So all you're going to do is just describe the situation. Then comes the E, which is express. This is when you are going to express your feelings and your emotions, but you're going to use I statements. And you're also not going to assume that the other person knows how you feel. What do we do sometimes when we're upset? We just go mute. We ignore. We just put a face. Oh, they know. They know why I'm mad. Don't assume that the other person knows. You communicate what the issue is, but you do not assume that the other, because sometimes what happens is like miscommunication. I cannot even tell you the amount of times where I thought in my head, oh my goodness, it is clear as day why I am upset right now. Like, you'd have to be stupid to not understand why I'm so upset. And then the whole time, maybe it's my boyfriend. My boyfriend doesn't even know that I'm mad. I call him in the night after ignoring him the whole day. You're really not going to do anything? What? Oh, I thought you were just busy today. You're upset? Why are you? And then I get even more mad because I'm like, what the fuck do you mean? You don't even know I'm mad? Was I not ignoring you the whole day? Yeah, but I just thought you were busy. Don't assume that people know how you feel. Okay, nobody can read minds. If we did, the world would either be really fucking messy or very peaceful. But obviously it's not, so don't assume. In this instance, you would say, when you come home so late, I start to worry about you. Because I also am really disappointed because I put a lot of time and effort in this meal, and then you're gonna want to assert what you want by communicating it clearly. Or if it's like saying no clearly, saying no, I'm not gonna do this. If like another situation, right? Let's say your friend wants you to go out. Hey, you've already told me 10 times to go out with you. I am feeling very tired. I just don't want to go out tonight. So no, I'm not going to go out. Or I would really appreciate it if you would let me know if you were running late. I would really like for you to call me when you're going to be home late. And this is not the time to assume that others are going to figure out a solution for you. Again, people cannot read your mind, okay? No, if he wanted to, he would. No. You tell him what he should do. Next time, expect him to do it. And if he doesn't, okay, you know, okay, next, then move on, okay? But no, give people the chance to correct their mistakes. Communicate what you want. Exactly. That's the only, like, closed mouths don't get fed. That's the only way that you are going to be able to get exactly what you need, by communicating what that thing is. The next one is reinforce or reward the person ahead of time by explaining positive effects of getting what you want or need. If necessary, also clarify the negative consequences of not getting what you want or need. So I would be so relieved and honestly a lot easier to live with if you did that. Like, I don't want to feel like I'm nagging you. I don't want to be annoying. Or if it's the friend situation, I would be so much more fun. We would both have just so much more fun out if I was actually in the mood to go out. Keep rewarding that desired behavior in the future. Let's say next time they call you, right? Hey, I'm not gonna make it home in time for dinner. I'm running a little late. I'm so sorry. I'll make it up to you. Oh, okay, yeah, that's fine. Thank you so much for letting me know. Oh, okay, thank you so much for letting me know. I'm gonna go out to dinner tonight. Or, oh, I'll call somebody to come over. Or, oh my God, thank you for letting me know. Now I'll be able to do this, right? You're gonna wanna reward that behavior. Because people forget, people slip up. Maybe he has a habit, who knows, maybe he's lived alone for decades and he forgets that, oh shit, now I have somebody waiting for me back at home, right? You're rewarding this new habit that you want them to build. Same thing with your friend. Hey, you know what? I told you I didn't want to go out tonight and you were so like accepting of it. I just want to say thank you so, so much for that. I really appreciate it. We'll for sure go out next week. And you're rewarding that behavior. And I also do want to say that something that my therapist said to me that kind of stuck out was that we don't want to put ourselves in these situations where we can lose control. What that means is that if you went through all of this and you're consistently like communicating your needs and your wants and you're keeping it very respectful and you're putting in all of this work to build healthier communication patterns, and the other person is just not receptive. The other person goes from 0 to 100 real quick. They're not putting any work to better themselves, to better that, you know, their communication skills. Or if they are just continuously like making you so upset, just invalidating you, it's like your responsibility to step away from that trigger. Because obviously, like, it's just holding you back. So that's something that my therapist really said to me that kind of stuck out to me because, you know, like, you can use these skills, you can master these skills, but if the other person just has no idea what you're doing, no idea what you're trying to do, it's not receptive of them, then it's not going to work. So we also want to be intentional about the people that we let into our space, especially when we're like doing all this shit to like get better. You know, you want to have people around you who understand the importance of feeling respected and also being respectful. And then the next one is to stay mindful. Keep your focus on your goals, maintain your position, don't be distracted, don't get off topic, keep asking or saying no or expressing your opinion over and over and over. Just keep replaying the same thing again and again. and ignore attacks. If another person attacks, threatens, or tries to change the subject, ignore the threats, comments, or attempts to divert you. Do not respond to the attacks. Ignore the distractions. Just keep making your point. No, I know, but it was just like work was so hectic and I would just like a call. Oh my God, no, it's just like you don't get it. Like, it's just, you don't understand. Hey, look at everything I did. Like, I would want to call. I want to call. That's all I'm asking. I just want to call. You're doing all of this because you want something from the relationship, right? You want something out of this. This is the whole purpose behind this. You want a call. Or let's say your friend is like, oh my God, no, just like come out with me, please. Like come do just like this one time. Hey, I'm not gonna go out today. I'm not gonna go out today. I need you to respect. I'm not gonna do it. No, I already said no. I already said no. I already said no. Then we're gonna appear confident while we're doing all of this. Okay, we're not gonna be like, oh, well, I guess, yeah. You don't think you can call though? You don't, or it's just, I don't know. I'm not too sure. Like, I just don't feel like going out today. I'm just like, I don't know. I'm just, no. You're going to be confident about what you want. You're not going to be saying, oh, I'm not sure. You're not going to be looking at the floor. You're not doing anything wrong. Okay, this is like a good thing that you're doing. You need to be confident in this. And then the final part is to negotiate. Be willing to give to get. So offer and ask for other solutions to the problem. Maybe you're going to reduce your request just a little. Or maybe you're going to say no, but offer to do something else or to solve the problem another way. Focus on what will work. Okay, I understand you can't call me, but like, hey, what about a text? Can you text me if you're running late? Or you can turn the problem to the other person. Or, hey, no, that doesn't work for me either. It's just like I'm so busy. Okay, then like, what do you think we should do? Because I don't want to feel this way. I don't want this to happen again. So what should we do? Let me know. Okay, well, what if I do call you, but I'll call you a little bit earlier? Okay, what if I text you just like one letter? An N is gonna mean an L for late. If I text you an L, it means I'm gonna be running late. Okay, yeah, no problem. Or maybe the friend is like, oh, dude, I just want to go out tonight. Like, hey, you know what? I don't want to go out. If it's like you want to hang out, you can come over. We can do something chill. You want to bake something, watch something here. Like, go ahead and come over, but I'm not going to go out. Try to negotiate so that, again, both persons' needs are met. And I was going to go over two other things, which is give and fast. But this video is already so long. 45 minutes. Let me put on my glasses. Sorry, fam. Let's see. Yeah, it's already 45 minutes. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm already fucking crashing out. The sun already went down. So maybe like if you enjoyed this was Dearman. If you enjoyed this, we'll go over give and fast depending on the feedback I get. So if you want to see give and fast, give is all about relationship effectiveness. It's about keeping relationships strong while also communicating your needs, which is really good if you have a tendency of just like having a lot of falling outs, or being like me, just talking shit out of your ass and foregoing the other person's feelings when you're getting a little emotional. And then fast is all about helping you stand up for yourself and communicate without losing self-respect, without feeling like a pushover, without feeling like you have to kind of, I don't know, like give up your morals in a way to make the relationship work or to solve the problem that you're facing. But yeah, I hope truly, like, I learned so much with Dearman. Again, these are just skills. What helped me for Dearman is literally like talking to myself. I'm great with that. Hey, talking to myself and having like these altercations, just kind of like how I did right now in the video. I would have those conversations with myself anytime. I mean, I love talking to myself. So I would be driving or I would be lounging around the house, even like working, and I would be having these arguments or conversations with myself. I would also I would also practice it with like my boyfriend because it's a skill that I wanted him to learn as well. And that's what helped it stick. So like now whenever I'm hurt, I think when you become aware, oh, like there's terms for this, right? There's terms for what I'm doing right now. You become more aware of your actions, right? Before therapy, when I would come from a very wise mind, or a very, sorry, not wise mind, a very emotional mind, a very rational mind, like I wouldn't understand what I was doing. I was just saying, this is how I act out when I'm upset. I am upset and I'm doing this because this person made me upset. But now that I know that there's terms for this and that I'm not the only person in the world to be, acting this way, it kind of brings it more into my awareness, so that when I am hurt and when I do feel like, saying something that clearly comes from my emotional mind, I'm so much more like, oh shit, what am I doing? Because it's almost like embarrassing. That's what it is. Like, it's like, I don't want to be the person to always act out for my emotional mind. I don't want to be the bitch to always act out for my rational mind. I don't want to be like the person that can't communicate properly, can't use the Dearman skills. So let me just stay quiet for a bit. And let me figure out how to form the sentence so that it's coming from my wise mind, so that I'm doing my Dearman skills. But yeah, that's all I'm going to talk about today. Wise mind and dear mind. I hope that you learned something. I was kind of nervous about making this video because I think I almost feel like it's like a BPD thing. Like I almost feel like anybody can communicate. Anybody knows this. Like this is common sense. But I witnessed an altercation in the wild, in public, and I was like, maybe not everybody like has these skills. So yeah, that's why I decided to make this video. I hope that you're able to use them to strengthen your relationships. But yeah, don't forget to like this video because it helps me out a lot. And you know what helps me out more? Subscribing. And you know what helps me out more than subscribing? Putting my videos, just like watching all of them, put it in the background, put the volume to 0, okay? If you need to, but help a girl out. I've been making videos for a minute. I'm like literally this close to being monetized. I was recently, so in order to be monetized, you have to have 1,000 subscribers. I'm at 990 right now. And you need to have 4,000 hours of watch time. I was at 3,800, but they reset every 365 days. So let's say last year, today, I got 2,000 of those watch hours. And tomorrow, I'm going to be down, like, and I'm at 3K, right? Tomorrow, the year's over, babe. You're back down to 1. So that's what happened to me, okay? And I'm really sad about it. I'm really sad about it because I was so close to being monetized. I haven't made a single dime off of this channel, and I've been putting in the work every week, almost every day, trying to figure out how to like juggle this, right? Because obviously can't pay the bills with this, but yeah, please help me raise my watch hours. Please, I'm begging. I'm at 1,309. It's not looking good for me. But I am at 990 subscribers. Yeah, it is what it is. We'll go another 2 years of no dollar from this shit if we have to. It's fine. But yeah, until next time. Bye.